Hey, Lightning, have you heard?
No.
The Truck Show. We're gonna show you what we know. We're gonna answer what the truck. 'Cause truck rhymes with the Truck Show. We have the lifted, we have the lowered, and everything in between. We'll talk about trucks that run on diesel and the ones that run on gasoline. The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show, whoa, whoa.
It's the Truck Show with your hosts, Lightning and Holman.
This episode of the Truck Show podcast, Have You Heard? Is proudly presented by Nissan. With the Frontier, Titan, and Titan XD, Nissan has a truck for every need, along with the legendary Nissan durability. Test drive your next truck at a local Nissan dealer today, or point your browser to nissanusa.com, where you can use the build and price tool to configure a Nissan truck that fits your lifestyle.
And when you're thinking about adding power or improving fuel economy, Banks has over 65 years of experience. Whether it's cold air intakes or exhaust systems, tuning, throttle control, charge air cooling, lubrication components, and much more, no one offers smarter, safer, 50-state emissions-compliant performance parts than Gale Banks. You'll find the best engineered parts for your truck at bankspower.com.
And when you're looking for quality, full synthetic lubrication for your truck, AMSOIL has you covered with motor oil, lubricants and protectants, grease, additives, and more. AMSOIL synthetic lubricants deliver wear protection, engine cleanliness, and fuel efficiency that conventional oils simply can't match. Find out how AMSOIL synthetic lubricants can save you money and time by helping your vehicles run better and last longer than with conventional oils at AMSOIL.com. When it comes to lubrication, AMSOIL is the leader in synthetics.
EGR now celebrating their 50th anniversary as a leading manufacturer of truck and SUV accessory products with headquarters right here in the good old US of A. As an Australian-owned, family-run business with humble beginnings, EGR is now a global leader in the automotive accessory industry. If you're looking for window visors, fender flares, tonneau covers, lights, hood guards, and more, you'll find them all at EGRUSA.com.
Lightning, have you heard?
No.
No, I haven't. I don't think so. You've been teasing me all last episode. You said that you had some truck news.
Yep.
And I knew that you flew to somewhere in the Midwest.
Yep, Detroit.
And you saw a new truck, and you wouldn't tell me what it was. And this is it. What do we got?
The brand new redesigned Ford Maverick. All right.
Okay. Is
So
this
here's the deal.
Well, hold on a second.
Nope.
Is this the sport truck that
Easy.
we had
Just
been...
slow your roll here. All right? Just slow your roll. Here's the deal. I have wanted to hate the Maverick since day one. I wanted it to be it's just a stupid little Honda Ridgeline, and it sucks, and I don't like it. It's unibody, and then all of a sudden I was given one by Ford, and I put a bunch of stuff in the bed, and I started using it, and I went, yeah, it kind of rides kind of nice, and it's got enough utility, and it's pretty quick, and I don't hate it. And then I looked around the interior and I'm like, yeah, it's a cheap truck, affordable truck, but it's not like made cheap. It's an affordable truck.
This is the process of selling out in real time.
With the materials that are at a cheap price point, but they're cool. There's like, the plastics are different. They're faceted. They have some shape to it. There's like some texture and some color differences. And I'm like, all right, it's kind of funky and cool. I like it. And then I'm like, I'm not a huge fan of the grill. I don't like the front end on it. And then Ford had the hybrid as the standard $19,000 truck. And then everybody went for the hybrid. So they went, ooh, that's going to be the upgrade engine now. And then everyone went, well, wait a minute. Why is that now the upgrade? And you can never get the hybrid with with all-wheel drive. And so Ford heard their customers loud and clear. Mm-hmm. And they have come out with a mid-cycle action. The MCA is what they call them, a refresh of the Maverick. And I got to tell you, I flew out to Detroit for one day to see it, and I was blown away by it. The front end is super cool. The Lariat, you now get 19s on it. Looks awesome. Tremor is now its own trim line. Check this out. You can get the EcoBoost, the 2-liter, with or without all-wheel drive. The hybrid is, again, the base engine, but now you can upgrade the hybrid and get that with all-wheel drive.
Oh, wow.
So here's what's cool about it. So the hybrid Maverick is 191 horsepower and 155 pound-feet of torque. The gas engine is 238, 277. That's healthy.
Sure.
That's healthy. Again, hybrid now and all-wheel drive. You get a massive 13.2-inch screen now, standard, no matter which trim, XL, XLT,
Center stack, right?
Center stack.
Okay.
XL, XLT, Lariat, Tremor.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Okay.
Is it what is in the driver's the dashboard? Is it analog or digital?
No, it's digital.
It is.
No, it's fully modern.
Okay.
And they're targeting on the hybrid 42-ish miles per gallon with a 500-mile range.
Damn.
And you're going, okay, I'm really hating this less and less. Because for somebody who needs like a little urban pickup or something like for like light offer, like I think it would be a really good, Tremor version would be like a good Subaru alternative.
Okay.
Right? Like you get actually good truck stuff with it, and it's got skid plates and tow hooks and all that kind of stuff.
But when it was affordable, not as much today. Like
Well,
that $19,000 truck
that
is now what, 30?
That doesn't exist any longer, but hold on. It's got 1,500 pounds of payload. Which
All right.
is solid.
Yeah. Okay.
And max tow rating, if you get the tow package, 4,000 pounds. Pretty darn good. So it can definitely do your truck light work. I mean, it's not going to replace your F-150, but for the right use case, I think it kind of makes sense. And then they have a ton of tech that's trickled down, like Pro Pilot 2.0, Pro Trailer Backup Assist, the backup lines, all the 360 camera.
Like the Blue Cruise. They have that?
Not Blue Cruise, but they have the Pro Pilot 2.0, which is like adaptive cruise and lane keep assist and things like that. So pricing starts now at $26,000 plus destination. But if you got a loaded Lariat, you're only looking at like high 30s, like 38 or something like that. So still fairly reasonable. I would have loved to see it mid 30s. I would love to see it at the low 30s, but
not going to happen.
It's
anymore.
not going to happen, and they're making money, and people want to buy the truck. I think the new truck is going to be even more desirable than it was. The look is way better. The grill's better. The signature LED lights in the front. They kind of fixed up the rear end. The wheel and tire packages look great. All the interiors, a lot of blue instead of charcoal, so it's a little funky there. They've got some cool twill on the seats, but the person who designed the interior used to work for Nike. And so she brought in a bunch of these kind of like designer elements and stuff. So it's, even though it's, an affordable, cheap, if you will, truck, it still has style and it's still funky. And the bed is totally usable. So you can do the double deck system with 2x4s. You've got Ford's tie down system on the rail, spray and bed liner. So there's a lot to like about it. Even the rear seat space was okay, for being as small as it is.
Could you be like 6'2" and fit back there?
I don't know if you'd be comfortable. All right, so I happen to have the pricing here for each level. So XL Hybrid front-wheel drive, $26,295. XLT Hybrid front-wheel drive, $28,795. Lariat gas EcoBoost all-wheel drive. There's a $1,200 EcoBoost and all-wheel drive discount that applies. $35,535. That's solid.
Okay.
If you want to step up to the hybrid, it jumps up to 36.
Still not cheap.
Yeah, but 35,000.
Yeah.
For
what else?
That kind of power?
What else are you getting in that range? 35 grand for a truck. I mean, you're not really touching a Tacoma, are you?
No.
Yeah.
Not as this is the high trim in the Maverick. So there's going to be overlap. The Lariat hybrid all-wheel drive, $36,735. Tremor gas EcoBoost, $39,795. Destination delivery, $15,995. Now, there's a special vehicle that you've been waiting for. That had a chance to go see in person in Detroit, and also last week at Randy's Donuts in Inglewood, over by the airport.
Wait a minute. This was 20 minutes from me.
Ford did a local reveal, and that is the brand new, super freaking rad Lobo. All right, so the Lobo is the sport truck we've all been talking about, and the base is going to be 35 grand, and when you hear what it includes, you're going to be blown away. Now, the most expensive Maverick is going to be the Lobo high configuration. That's going to be $40,495. But that includes heated steering wheel and seats, Ford Co-Pilot 360 2.0, driver assist technology, 360 camera, spray and bed liner, moonroof, Pro Trailer hitch assist, and Pro Trailer backup assist for 40 grand. That's everything, all the boxes checked. I've got a great interview. I want to play it for you. It's going to explain what the Lobo is. I'll set it up. What's awesome about it is it's a total Ford parts bin car. These guys went to SEMA, Ford's people, the engineers on the Maverick, just like you and I did. Looked at all of the Mavericks that were at SEMA and said, we can get people further down the line. What can we use? What are they using?
That's funny that they did that, because we always went to the Ford section, and all of our friends,
Yep.
we're going to sound like we're humble bragging, but like we have a lot of friends that build cars and trucks for SEMA, and they had built some amazing Mavericks. And so
Ford noticed.
Okay.
And so Skunk Works kind of started working on what they could grab out of the parts bin to make the Maverick a sport truck. And then it became official, and they already had some work done. So let's play this interview, explain more about the brand new Ford Maverick Lobo.
Throw some West Virginia twang in there, and he just rolls right off the top.
All right, I'm with Keith Doherty. That good?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, so you are responsible for basically putting together the componentry that make up the Lobo as far as the chassis and things like that?
Yeah, I led the team. Obviously, yeah, there were several engineers, but it was a small group of us that, each of us brought our expertise to the different systems, but, helped put it all together. So it was the total vehicle worked. All the systems worked together to deliver that, performance, fun to drive experience that we expect, hope you can get in it.
Okay, so I'll preface this that we've been talking about the return of mini trucks. So I worked at Truckin' Magazine back in the day when I started.
Okay.
So I go way back, and then I've got a podcast, and we've been talking about the return of mini trucks for 5-6 years now. And when we saw the Maverick come out, and then we saw the spy photos of the Lobo, we're like, oh, they're doing it. They're finally doing it, right? Because we covered all the ones at SEMA and all that. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason I bring that up is because you were telling us as the group of journalists that what you did was go visit those vehicles and start getting inspiration for what could possibly be done from the factory and seeing what owners were doing to modify. So you took a prototype, you kind of went to the parts bin and said, we've got a bunch of great products from around the world in different vehicles, and we can make something even better with the Maverick. So walk me through that. What is different between this and the standard Maverick?
Oh yeah, so definitely to your point, we pulled several parts out of the bin. When we got our Maverick, one of the first things we put it on a hoist. And I always, we talk about how customers do it.
Yeah.
Well, we put it on a hoist, we literally ripped it down to the bones. Yeah. I don't know how many customers would buy their new truck and put it on jack stands in their garage.
Well, there's a few YouTubers. They're like, oh, I want the shifter. I want this gauge cluster. I want it, right?
Yeah, we've seen some of those guys. But so the biggest thing we did was just, again, looking at what people did. So obviously the lowering kits that people have done is one of the first things that grabbed us. That's where we definitely started attacking what can we do with the suspension. And again, engineer that suspension to all of those, build Ford tough standards, but still lower it as much as we could. After that, we said, we've got, one of the things, we had a Focus ST that happened to be in the U.S. for testing. So we procured the brakes off of that thing. Well, we also procured the wheels and tires. So the brakes was, that was one of the first things we put on was those twin piston calipers, knowing every performance vehicle, you need better braking to some extent.
Well, here's what I love is you said, okay, we had this great brake package from the Focus ST.
Yeah.
And we brought it over to Maverick. But then we realized, this is going to be people's daily drivers, so we're going to throw the comfort pads on there.
Yeah.
But a very simple, very cost-effective upgrade to get better braking out is just go to the performance pads from your Ford dealer, and you don't even need to do anything else.
Correct.
Was this an official program, or did you guys kind of go do something on the side and then bring it to the chief engineer and say, hey, we think we got something, we kind of bootleg this, what do you think?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, again, like any business, there's official and kind of, and like I said, Skunk Works, our team really did start working on it before the program was official. Just like, Josh, if we talk to Josh, people are they're sketching designs, on stuff that's not even on the cycle plan. So definitely we started before, once it became a program, definitely saying, hey, look, we've already, when you start talking to the different functional teams, they're like, hey, what about this? What about this? It's like, hey guys, we've done it. Yeah. So we're not trying to minimize the effort and resources you got, but it's like, we know it will work.
So this has the 2-liter EcoBoost all-wheel drive. You use the RDU, the rear drive unit that's out of the Bronco Sport to help with torque vectoring. And tremor, okay. Yep. And then is it lowered, or do you have different springs and struts for it compared to the other ones?
Yeah, so the springs and shocks, or struts and shocks in the rear, those are all new for Lobo.
Okay.
Yep. So higher spring rate, that's going to help with the performance feel.
Head toss
exactly. Yeah, the whole roll and all that stuff, body roll. So higher spring rates, but springs are slightly shorter. So that's what helps give us the lower ride height.
Okay. How is it, like half an inch or?
It's roughly half an inch in the front and just over an inch in the rear.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little more level stance like you would
Exactly.
in the
Yeah.
aftermarket.
Yep. So it's not like trucks, right, with the payload and the whole, variation with payload.
Yeah.
This doesn't vary as much because the stiffer springs
Right.
and exactly like you said. So we kind of took the rake out to make it look more level and more, again.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be a fan. I was a little bit of a Maverick hater in the beginning until I spent time with them. And I was like, in the beginning, I was like, it's a Honda Ridgeline. It's Ford's little Honda Ridgeline, right? But then you get around and you realize this isn't an expensive product that was decontented to meet a price point. This was an affordable product being an affordable product and functional and cool. It's cheap, but it's unapologetically cheap. It's cheap in the right ways. It's not cheap from a quality standpoint or materials. The way the execution's done is great, but it doesn't apologize for what it is. I love that about it because it has a ton of function, and obviously customers do too. And then to see at SEMA what everybody was doing, now to see you guys recognize that and go, hey, we'll like, to your point, we'll get you started, right? We'll go down that road. No. You also talked about bringing the steering rack out of the Kuga, which is a European product, right?
Correct. It's the Escape. It's the Europe's version of the Escape. Yeah.
And then also some thermal management with a different fan, or the towing package fan is standard on this?
Yeah, correct. So the Lobo basically uses the 4K tow package radiator, larger radiator and higher output fan. So that's, again, to help with the engine coolant. But the other thing we knew, we started looking at, depending on what type of closed course you're going to.
Right.
If you go to a
Mexico.
or if you go to a larger closed course, right? Because,
right.
I mean, again, like I say, it's not a racetrack vehicle,
right.
but there's lots of small racetracks.
Yeah, autocross and things like that.
Yeah, so I mean, sometimes an autocross and small racetrack blur, and we're like, okay, if they do go out to that racetrack, we got to protect the transmission. So that's where there's, transmission oil coolers in current production. It's a transmission oil cooler on the hybrid. So let's just take that one and put it in the front of the thing. And, so we had to make some new lines. But, otherwise, it's like I said, it's, to your point, we pulled a part off the shelf.
Yeah, and you guys have a new Lobo mode, so on the dial.
Yes.
So that basically makes it so electronic stability control doesn't try and straighten you out on a racetrack. When you want it to rotate, you're able to use that torque vectoring in the rear, along with the faster steering ratio in the front, to really get it around a corner. And to me, that just sounds like a hell of a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I say you guys got to drive it, because it is such a blast. Every time I drive, I drove our prototype early on, or even these trucks, I just get out with a big smile on my face. And so, it's definitely, but the other side of it, it's very easy to drive. So it's, even if you don't have a lot of experience with performance driving, I think a customer can get in this vehicle and develop their skills very quickly. So, you're not jumping in a high horsepower rear-wheel drive. This vehicle, I think, would be a great thing for someone starting out. It says,
totally.
Hey, I'm new to the scene. I'm not quite sure what I'm capable of. Jump in this Lobo, and it'll help you out. It'll be a partner.
Is the powertrain, horsepower and torque same as the standard Maverick? Transmission the same?
So the engine, yes, the 2-liter EcoBoost engine is the same in Lobo as the rest of the Maverick lineup, but the transmission is new. It's a new transmission, but it's still the 8F architecture.
Okay.
So in the rest of the Mavericks, it's an 8-speed.
8-speed, right?
Correct. So what we did here, again, for that performance driving, especially when you add the paddle shifters, the customer can get in manual mode, and it's not going to shift, so they have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, just the way the ratios are set up on the 8-speed, if you're really shifting at redline, you end up in, essentially, you have a missed gear, because you have to double shift to get through one of the gears. So he said that's not the customer experience, right? You don't want to be like hauling down a drag strip, or wherever you happen to be, and have to like do a double pull.
So somewhere between 2, 3, and 4, there's an extra gear on the 8-speed ratio for merging on the freeway or
fuel economy.
Okay,
exactly.
So you just take that out of this.
We just take it out. We calibrate it out. It's the same thing we did on like the Edge ST. Focus ST in Europe does the same thing too.
Okay.
So again, back to pulling parts and experience off the shelf. The trans team already knew how to do it because they've done it twice.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are you most excited about when we're sitting out here? We're in lovely Detroit, down in Corktown, and we've got a black and a blue Lobo sitting here. You put the last couple of years of your efforts, and this is the first time the journalists are seeing it. You're getting feedback. Like, you're sitting here as an engineer, and your thought is what?
I can't wait to see the videos and posts of what they do. Again, the way they're going to modify it, the way they're going to make it their own. This is kind of our take on street truck. I want to I want to see hundreds of takes on street truck.
Yeah.
And then obviously, I got to be honest with you, I want to go find an empty parking lot somewhere that is closed.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you. I got one more question. It's obviously front-wheel drive architecture.
Yes.
This is all-wheel drive. You added the RDU out of Bronco Sport and Tremor. Will it drift?
Absolutely. We wouldn't have been talking about drifting today if it doesn't.
What's your torque split? Is there a maximum torque split between front and rear that it can achieve?
Yeah, so we can't send 100% torque to the rear, but
Can you do 60?
Once we get to the rear, we can send 100 left or right.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons why this torque vectoring is so effective is everything that goes down the drive shaft can go one way or the other.
Got it.
We don't have to split it to some extent.
Well, dude, thank you. I can't wait to, again, find that closed course with you, maybe in the future on the first drive.
Hey, man.
And let's go make some drifts.
All right. Thanks a lot, John. Good
Thanks,
talking
Keith.
to you.
Thank you.
I feel like he's my new favorite dude from Ford.
Yeah, I love that guy. Freaking love him. So that dude's like, oh, yeah.
He's one of us.
SEMA. And I'm like, oh, we can do that. Well, I want to see people do their takes on street trucks, but I'm going to get them closer to the beginning.
Yeah.
Right?
That's super cool.
I can't tell you how much I haven't driven yet. So
did you have any
judgment? But I sat in it.
Did you have any expectations when you went to Detroit to see this?
Like, did I know I was going to see it?
No. You knew you were going to see it.
I knew I was going to see Maverick. Yeah.
Yeah, but did you have any expectations about its cool factor?
No.
And you were impressed.
I was super impressed. And if you know me, I am pretty hard to impress when it comes to a lot of things.
Yeah, you're
especially automotive. Yeah, of course I am.
Yeah.
And, manufacturers don't always listen to their customers, and they don't always do what's right by the segment they're trying to chase because of a gazillion reasons. It could be price point. It could be, cost cutting. It could be marketing. It could be brand building or not building, right? And I think Ford nailed it on this. I think, honestly, if I didn't really need like a 4x4 truck, I would get one of these. Or conversely, I would consider one of these once the 392's paid off. And
In addition to.
And maybe if the Aria is once I'm done with that lease, I might consider picking one of these up as the city car. I mean, it's awesome.
I'm digging it.
We'll see.
Here's what I'm going to do. So as soon as my TRX is stolen, I'm going to buy myself a Lobo. I'm going to take it straight up to Sadistic Ironworks and have Bobby bag it and put it on the ground.
You know what? If you didn't spend all that money on your TRX bollards and security equipment, you probably could do that right now.
Yes. That was stupid.
The Truck Show Podcast is a production of Truck Famous LLC. This podcast was created by Sean Holman and Jay Tillis with production elements by DJ Omar Khan. If you like what you've heard, please open your Apple Podcast or Spotify app and give us a 5-star rating. And if you're a fan, there's no better way to show your support than by patronizing our sponsors.
Lobo looking neat, lower to the ground, turning heads all around. Chromed out rims shine bright under city lights at night. Bass thumping through the speakers, got that style fit for leaders. Cruising in my Lobo, feeling like a boss. Every turn I make, showing off without a loss. Leather seats so sleek, music playing unique. Through the hood I glide, for pride by my side. Paint job fresh and clean, engine runs like a dream. Low and slow I go, in my Lobo stealing show. Cruising in my Lobo, feeling like a boss. Every turn I make, showing off without a loss. Leather seats so sleek, music playing unique. Through the hood I glide, for pride by my side. Paint job fresh and clean,
engine runs like a dream. Low and slow I go in my Lobo stealing show. Cruising in my Lobo, feeling like a